Okay, we're back, and this gesso is completely dried all the way around. And so now I want to glue my gel print paper onto here. It's basically a decoupage process. It's just that I'm decoupaging onto a canvas instead of a wood or a metal basis. I'm trying to think what I want. I do like this kind of mark here. So that would look nice. I think that's what I'm going to do, is just kind of let the paper, and if you can see over on this side, I've got plenty to go around here. I'm going to kind of crease that so I know where my edges are. So I'm going to put my glue on this paper. I'm going to cut off this excess here. Yeah, so we can go up here. I love having this nice big leftover piece here. I can do some fun things with that. Be great in a junk journal or card. Artist trading card. Okay, so I can kind of see where I creased. And I'm using this pH neutral PVA glue. It's ideal for bookbinding and paper projects. I'm pretty sure I got this off of Amazon. I've had it a year or so. I lost the little top to it, I think, the first time I used it. And so I put a nail in the top to keep it from getting, from clogging up, and the nail kind of rusted in there, and it's clogged up anyway, so now I just use it by taking the lid off. It stays mixed up. I don't have to shake it, but it is very liquid. I don't know if you can see in there. I'm just going to spread this on an old brush. See, it's very liquid. And get that on there. And I want to get a good even coating to those marks that I made, kind of where the size of my canvas. I'm sure some of you have much better ideas or technique for getting glue on things. This is just what works for me. I was noticing when I was looking for a brush, I have little tiny ones, and I had this huge one. I didn't really have a lot in between. I've used them and abused them. So it's one of the things I'm going to need to pick up. Maybe there'll be some Black Friday sales. Okay, so I've got this coated here. I'm going to move my canvas back into frame. And then I'm just going to kind of get a feeling of, oops, turn it back around here. Get it that orientation that I liked with those. Kind of let it get on here loosely. Needs to come up just a smidgen. It's one good thing about using a liquid glue. You can kind of position it a little bit. And then I just start from the center and work toward the edges. And I don't know if you can tell it or not, but the texture of the gesso is coming through on the paper. So there's texture in our paints, right? The paint layers of the turquoise and the white and the copper color. And now we also have the texture coming through of the gesso. Smooth that down very well. And then I'm just going to take it one side at a time and get those edges sealed down real good. So I'm going to stand it on this end. I got it close over here. Okay. The lid back open. Clean some of this up. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see it or not because the gesso's white and so is the glue, but I've got a nice coat on there, and I'm just going to fold this edge over. Again, just kind of smoothing from the center out to the corners. And again, can you see the texture that we've picked up from the gesso underneath? Just kind of roll over that edge with my fingers. And then I'm going to snip this corner, each corner, kind of like wrapping a present, right? I'm going to snip that so these other edges will lay down when it's time. My brush was a little dry, so I'm going to try pouring this. Maybe I won't get too much. Not too much, yay me. All smeared on there well. Now I'll just fold this edge over. Again, working from the center out. This side did not have quite as much texture in the gesso, and that's okay. Gonna roll that edge. If you do find that your paper tears, looks like that could have been a tear there, but it didn't. If you find that your paper tears, you just go ahead and glue it down, and then you can take a little piece like what you've trimmed off here and just glue it on top of it. Nobody will ever know. Might give it a little bit more character than it would have had if it hadn't have torn. You could probably do this with a dauber, sponge dauber as well, if you didn't have a brush. Fold that over. I like those little crinkles, but I am going to keep it smooth. Roll over that edge good. Got a smidgen of a crinkle. Good. Cool. And now my 4 sides have been done, so I'm going to trim away some of this excess paper. I love a little spring-loaded clip, spring-loaded clipper scissor set. I think I got these, a package of 3 of these from Amazon. They're a no-name brand. They are made to look like the Fiskars. But I got 3 of them in the set. And I guess it was a better deal than the Fiskars. Okay, so I've just trimmed that off. Put the glue on there to kind of seal it up. Okay, we'll cut this excess paper off. If you're like me, these little pieces that have glue on them, you never know where you'll find them. I've found them, of course, on the studio floor. I found them on the bottom of my shoe. I've found them on the seat of my pants. Where I guess it fluttered kind of as I was walking by, and since it had glue, it stuck, and then I sat on it. One good thing about this is also washable. It washes out, and so if you do get it on your clothes, or if it happens to spill down on a rug, if you've got a rug in your studio, it will wash out. Okay, I like the way those corners look. They're covered well. Just sealing over everything. Oops, a little bit extra here. That corner is sealed well. And I can trim this a little bit better. Whoops. So since I've cut glue with these, I can let it dry real well and then probably just kind of go in with my fingers and rub it off. But if not, I've put them in the dishwasher, or just let them soak in a little bit of water and take a scrubby to them. Okay, I feel real good about that. That's covered well. Don't see any tears or anything. All the corners look good. So I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to be putting a Bible verse on this one. He has a favorite Bible verse. And I think I'm going to use Sharpie. And I'll show you that process when I get to it. But I do want to let that glue dry, because putting a fine point Sharpie on here right now, I anticipate will tear this paper, because there's not a lot to support on this part. So I want to be sure it's nice and dry. Okay, that's it for now. More later.